April 15, 2020. A quiet morning in the Midwest, and a lone Stein Mart storefront in Wichita, Kansas, flickered its lights for the last time, a silent testament to a retail empire that had once spanned more than 250 locations across the United States. The discount department store that couldn't survive 2020 had been a fixture of American shopping malls for half a century, and its abrupt disappearance would echo far beyond the aisles of clearance racks and the echo of cash registers. Founded in 1908 by Samuel Stein in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Stein Mart began as a modest family dry goods shop, catering to a community still reeling from the aftershocks of the Industrial Revolution. By the 1930s, the store had weathered the Great Depression, carving out a reputation for offering quality merchandise at prices that the average American could afford. When Samuel's son, Harold, took the helm after World War II, he introduced the concept of the discount department store, blending the variety of a full-line retailer with the low-price allure of a dime store. The result was a formula that resonated: brand-name clothing, home goods, and accessories, all priced at a discount of 20 to 40% off the suggested retail price. The 1990s marked the golden era for Stein Mart. As suburban malls blossomed, the chain expanded aggressively, opening new locations every year and reaching a peak of 315 stores by 2008. Its flagship, Stein Mart Mall in Jacksonville, Florida, became a bustling hub where shoppers could hunt for designer labels at bargain prices, and the chain's private label, Stein Mart Collection, added a touch of exclusivity to the discount model. The company went public in 1994, and its stock ticker, SMRT, became a familiar sight on the NYSE. For many, Stein Mart symbolized the American promise, a family business that grew into a national brand while staying true to its roots of value and community. Yet, beneath the bright storefronts, warning signs began to emerge. The early 2010s brought a seismic shift in consumer behavior. The rise of e-commerce, the dominance of Amazon, and the growing preference for fast fashion retailers like Zara and H&M. Stein Mart's loyalty to its brick-and-mortar model left it vulnerable. While competitors invested heavily in omnichannel strategies, Stein Mart clung to its traditional inventory-heavy approach, resulting in higher overhead and slower turnover. In 2014, the company's earnings report revealed a modest 2–3% decline in same-store sales, a figure that the leadership dismissed as a temporary dip. However, internal memos leaked to the press hinted at mounting pressure on the supply chain, with distributors demanding quicker payments and the company struggling to negotiate favorable terms on its bulk purchases. The financial strain intensified in 2017, when Stein Mart announced a cost-cutting plan that included closing 15 underperforming stores and laying off 400 employees. The move was framed as a strategic realignment, yet analysts noted that the closures accounted for less than 5% of total revenue, a band-aid rather than a cure. Simultaneously, the company's debt load ballooned to $250 million, much of it tied to long-term leases on aging mall spaces. Credit rating agencies downgraded Stein Mart's outlook from stable to negative, warning investors that the chain's cash flow was insufficient to service its obligations without a significant infusion of capital. When the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the nation in March 2020, it acted as a catalyst that turned a precarious situation into an irreversible collapse. Government-mandated lockdowns forced the doors of every Stein Mart location to shut overnight. With no robust e-commerce platform to pivot to, sales evaporated. The company's already thin liquidity reserves dried up, and within weeks, vendors began demanding payment in advance, choking the supply chain even further. On March 30, 2020, Stein Mart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, listing assets of $500 million against liabilities exceeding $700 million. The filing cited the unprecedented impact of the coronavirus pandemic as a primary factor, but insiders later confirmed that the company had been teetering on the edge for years, the virus merely pulling the rug out from under an already unstable foundation. The aftermath was swift and unforgiving. By May 2020, Stein Mart announced the liquidation of all remaining stores, leaving over 5,000 employees without jobs. Tenants of the malls that had housed Stein Mart locations felt the ripple effect. Foot traffic plummeted, and many smaller retailers were forced to close as well. The brand's once iconic red and white signage was replaced with auction banners and, later, with empty storefronts. Creditors recovered only a fraction of what they were owed, and shareholders saw their investments erased. The Stein family, whose name had been synonymous with the chain, retreated from public view, marking the end of an era that began over a century earlier. In the years that followed, the Stein Mart story became a cautionary tale for the retail industry. Former executives participated in panels discussing the need for digital transformation, and business schools added case studies on the chain's failure to adapt. Some former Stein Mart locations found new life as pop-up markets, specialty boutiques, or community centers, breathing fresh purpose into spaces that once echoed with the hum of discount shoppers. Meanwhile, a niche group of former customers launched an online nostalgia community, sharing photos of their favorite Stein Mart finds and reminiscing about the thrill of snagging a designer coat for half price. The brand's legacy lives on in these memories, a reminder that even the most venerable institutions can crumble when they ignore the winds of change. Subscribe to The Collapse for more stories like this.